Welcome back to the Sand Science Experience, where we explore the most exciting new research papers and preprints just for you. And hey, right at the start, if you could take a second to like this deep dive and hit subscribe, it really helps support the Sand Science Experience. Let's just keep doing this.
Okay, so today we're diving deep into something pretty fundamental. What happens to our muscles, our skeletal muscles, as we get older? Not just, feeling weaker, but right down at the genetic instruction level. We're talking about the transcriptome.
Right, the transcriptome. Think of it like the cell's current playlist of active RNA blueprints, what it's actually using at that moment.
And the question is, what does this playlist tell us about muscle health in people who are, aging, but still considered really healthy?
Yeah, this is based on a really interesting study. It just came out in Nature Communications, part of a bigger NIH project called GESTALT. They're specifically looking for these kinds of detailed molecular clues in healthy people. Okay, let's unpack the big picture then. The study looked at muscle samples, biopsies, from 53 healthy folks. And the age range was pretty wide, wasn't it? Like early 20s all the way up to early 80s.
Exactly, 22 to 83. And they used RNA sequencing, basically taking a snapshot of all those active RNA blueprints in the muscle cells.
To see which instructions were being used more or less with age.
Precisely. And the main findings were kind of surprising. They found over 1,000 different RNAs changing significantly with age. When they drilled down, 506 showed really robust, consistent changes across different analyses.
Wow. 506. So over 500 distinct genetic instructions are changing tune as we age, even if we're healthy? That feels like a lot.
It is. And here's the kicker. The vast majority of those 483 out of the 506 actually showed higher levels, higher expression in the older muscle tissue.
Higher, so not things shutting down, but more activity, more blueprints being printed out.
Seems like it. Only 23 actually decreased. It suggests aging muscle, even healthy aging muscle, is maybe working harder at the molecular level in some ways.
Huh. That is counterintuitive. What kind of genes are we talking about? Anything expected or?
Somewhere? Maybe not what you'd immediately jump to, like a gene called CDKN2B. Its expression went up. Now, this gene is pretty strongly linked to something called cellular senescence.
Senescence? That's when cells get old and stop dividing, right? Kind of like cellular retirement.
Exactly. And seeing that marker go up, even in healthy older muscle, is really interesting. It suggests maybe a little bit of controlled senescence is actually part of normal, healthy aging, perhaps to clear out potentially damaged cells.
So managed decline almost as a protective thing. Okay, what else?
Another one that increased was IRS2. This gene is involved in insulin signaling, how muscle cells respond to insulin and take up sugar for energy.
Which usually gets worse with age, doesn't it? Insulin resistance is common.
Typically, yes. But remember, these were very healthy older individuals. So the higher IRS2 might actually reflect their bodies actively compensating, working to maintain good insulin sensitivity. It could be a sign of successful adaptation, of resilience.
Ah, okay, so maybe it's a marker of maintaining health, not losing it. What about the muscle structure itself, repair genes?
Yep, they saw increases there too. Genes like LPP, which is important for the muscle structure, its scaffolding and repair, and others like FEZ2 and SCOP2, which are linked to nerve connections within the muscle and also repair processes.
So it looks like the muscle is constantly trying to patch things up, deal with accumulated wear and tear.
That could be it, like it's dialing up the maintenance and repair crews as time goes on.
Okay, so it's not just how much RNA, but did they look at the type of RNA, like different versions of the same blueprint?
They did exactly that. They looked at something called alternative splicing. It's a bit like, imagine a gene is a recipe book chapter with optional ingredients or steps exons. Alternative splicing is like choosing different combinations of those optional steps. You use the same basic chapter, but you get slightly different versions of the final dish, the protein.
Got it. So the same gene can produce slightly different instruction manuals or RNA isoforms?
Exactly. And they found that even for genes where the total amount of RNA didn't change much, the proportion of these different splice variants did change with age.
Meaning the final protein product might be subtly different in older muscle, even if the gene's overall activity seems the same.
Precisely. They gave examples like an RNA called SMIM11A, where older muscle tended to skip a specific section, exon 11, or another one, RXYLT1, where older muscle was more likely to include a different section, exon 9. These little tweaks to the recipe can change how the final protein works.
And all these changes, the amounts and the splicing, do they point to bigger biological processes being affected?
Absolutely. When you connect the dots, these shifts highlight changes in key pathways. Things like adipogenesis, fat formation within the muscle, oxidative phosphorylation, which is how cells make energy, and mTORC1 signaling, a major pathway controlling muscle growth and metabolism.
So it looks like a coordinated shift, maybe the body trying to adapt or compensate for the aging process itself.
That's what it points towards. This deep dive really shows that even healthy aging muscle isn't static. It has these distinct molecular signatures. Specific genes change, even the versions of the RNA blueprints change, all related to repair, metabolism, senescence.
Okay, so here's the provocative thought for you based on all this. If these changes, these molecular adaptations, are actually part of healthy aging, maybe they're the body's natural way of coping, right? Could we potentially promote better muscle function as we age, not by stopping decline, but by actually enhancing these natural repair and compensatory mechanisms the body is already trying to use?
Yes, supporting the body's own strategy, essentially. Definitely something to think about.
We hope this gave you some new insights today. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the SANS Science Experience for more deep dives into the latest science. Thanks for joining us here on the SANS Science Experience.